Hello, welcome to AmassGames. Today I'm bringing you the top 250 board games of all time, according to over 1,500 games I've played. And today I'm bringing you 175, not 174, to 151. 150 I think I'll bring on next time round. So, if you haven't already, please support and subscribe and check out the rest of the list. Check out the playlist as well as giving this a thumbs up. It lets me know you're enjoying it. And finally, add some comments if you like, and I'll by all means reply as soon as possible with your opinions and what I've put in here. And lastly, check out the description too. So here we have a game called Rise of Tribes. This game came out relatively recently, 2018. I've only played it the once. Very interesting game. I played it at a player count, I think it was either 4 or it was 3. And yes, it's an interesting kind of Euro feel game with area majority, a number of other factors with kind of modular setup. And what you're looking to do is ultimately be the best player possible by getting the best score in this competitive game. And let me just take you through some of these pictures that go into some of the art. I have got some of my pictures actually on here. So various different terrains that you can go to and various places you can look to go out from and try to get the best of your player board. To be honest, you're trying to see where you can actually improve, where you can improve, where can you multiply, and it's a bit like a 4x game, and explore, expand, exploit, and ultimately conquer, exterminate. So that is Rise of Tribes. On to an expansion. Now, as I've mentioned before, I do include in this list expansions and promos because some games I would rather play over other games. In this instance, let's say I'd rather play Monster Pack Rising Sun over, say, that game I just mentioned, Rise of Tribes. And that's because, well, funnily enough, they're both called Rise in the beginning of the name. But for me, this monster pack, so Rising Sun is an area control game as well, funnily enough. But in this instance, there are just different things you can play with. These ginormous creatures. It's just, you know, it just complements the game nicely. It's just nice to play with such mega things when you're playing with an area control game. Up next, we have a game by Brett J. Gilbert and also by Trevor and Benjamin. It's a two-player only game, a great two-player only game with fantastic art by Clemens France. Quite surprised that he did the art for this because he does lots of people. And I've got some great views on YouTube for this game, so you can check out AmassGames YouTube. There are plenty of videos, I'm sure. And as you'll see, I'm one of the earlier people to actually get some videos out on this. So yeah, people have been enjoying this, and I've got a playthrough as well. In fact, there's a known error, which fortunately I wasn't catching. But this is a game whereby you're trying to blindly know some cards, try and bid and ultimately control the best of one of two mandalas. So you have these mountains, you have forests, and you're looking to ultimately lay out cards and win the majority, and you're going to be scoring. It's a very interesting mechanism. I've seen it in a few games now, kind of a wonky scoring, whereby you get more points based on higher up this track you've been working on. So the cards that you play out last are where you're going to score the most. But having said that, you might not actually have as many of. Up next, we still stick with Rising Sun, this time with the Dynasty Invasion. This has a lot more variety than the Monster Pack. As you can see, 27 different miniatures. And in terms of what you want to do, again, if you like your games, if you like bluffing, you like different mechanisms and characters and descriptions and things you can pick between, I highly recommend checking out Rising Sun, Dynasty Invasion. Fantastic art. Up next, we have another exit game after Abandoned Cabin. This is the Sinister Mansion. Hardly anything between them, to be honest. I really like Sinister Mansion. It's an intermediate level of difficulty, which is pretty similar to the game Abandoned Cabin. Highly recommend it. I won't spoil it any more than that, but just by saying, yeah, it's quite a high level of difficulty to a degree. It's got 4 out of those 5, so you know it's not something you might want to start off with. But after Abandoned Cabin, definitely check this one out. Back to Rising Sun. This is a Dynamo box, so as you can see, I've played it with quite a lot of these stretch goals, extras, and sort of all-ins. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Not really into dudes on a map game, but in this instance, I just thought Rising Sun did a fantastic job of putting it together. And unlike Blood Rage, I think Eric M. Lang did a fantastic job on this one. So now we have another expansion. This is for No Thanks, and this is an expansion called Stroke of Luck with this very interesting, obviously, name put together here. And what you're doing here is when you're choosing to place a bid, then what you're able to do instead is actually say, no, I'm going to hand in my pig, my lucky pig, and it means I don't actually have to bid, so I don't have to hand in chips. So yeah, very interesting, nice little change up for the game. Not essential to the game, but it works very well. Just to give you a hint on that, I might have given much detail to no thanks. It might be coming up later. Space Team is a cooperative game. It's like a fast cooperative game. Plays only 5 minutes. Very interesting game here on Kickstarter. And yeah, you're looking to basically construct your engine, your ship. There's a few ways to do that, but ultimately you need to get things up in the right order. You need to get your engineer out, and then you might need your flux capacitor kind of thing to basically get it to work. In this instance, you just space cricket to fix something. Next up we have Thieves, an abstract strategy game for 2 players involving luck. And what you're looking to do here is get across into the centre of the board, and what you're doing there is looking to get to the treasure of the dwarven-like mine, this Norse mythology, and get it to the extra corner. That's why it's called Thieves. It's a nice play on that name. You're rolling dice, so some people might not like roll and move, but you're thinking the fact that, well, if I roll it, obviously I'm going to either have to go that way or somewhere else. You have a choice, you have 2 options, so do you want to go straight for the centre or somewhere else? What I like about it is the fact it just stops you thinking, ugh, do I go there or do I go there? I've got some luck. You know, it's forcing me to do one of the others, so it limits my options. What one do I choose to go for? And it won Game of the Year at the UK Games Expo on the abstract thing. A newer game called Demons is on its way. So Sprawlopolis is a tiny micro game. I think it only has 18 cards. Yes, only 18 cards here. Another game on Kickstarter, and it was nominated for various things down here. We've got Golden Geek Best Solo and Best Card Game. I have played it as a 2, and I think I've played it solo. I know I've only played it as a 2, but I know people buy this a lot. They're buying it solo. And yeah, you're trying to create a tableau, placing out various things and try and score based on various scoring mechanisms. So here you're trying to get like maybe the longest route, trying to get loads of forests, and try and get your best score you can. Up next, another abstract game and another 2-player game. In fact, best as a 2. Yep, you can play 2 to 4. Don't really recommend it. And this is a game whereby you're trying to, it's pretty much a re-implementation of the game Torres, which I rate highly. And yeah, you're trying to place out one of these pieces. You're getting up a level, get up another level, and then you're going to finally obviously get this dome on top to win the game. And you're playing with a couple of characters each, playing with various cards depending on which character you're representing, and it allows you to maybe move first and then build, or build and move first, etc., to eventually be the first person to get to the top. It's been re-implemented again in Manhattan, which looks a lot better as an idea, in my opinion. But Santorini, that blue and white theme, was very strong for Greece. So Catan, yes, Settlers of Catan. Why am I only giving it a 6? Well, I still think it's a fantastic game that really amped up the quality of board games out there, and it's changed many people's lives. It really got millions of people into gaming. It really changed things up a lot. Yes, it involves dice. Yes, it has probability, a bit like what Sitzagson brought around in the 60s. But for me, it's a 3x game. It has, expand, exploitation, and kind of extermination as well to a degree. But expand, exploit, of course, is the other one. And for me, I think this works very strongly. I feel that whilst I've mentioned the 5 to 6 player game, even though I'd rather play the 5 to 6 player game, I wouldn't bundle that on somebody straight away. And remember, the 5 to 6 player one, if you watch the last video, it's only if you play with 2 sets of dice. Check out the other video to see why you can play this game in 20 minutes. So yeah, once Builder's Yards really amped up things from there. So Stefan Feld, wow, this is a game that, one of his first designed games, but I think it's pretty much his best, actually. Really enjoyed this one. And this is basically a game involving placement out. Yeah, simple placement and collection game. And what you're looking to do, you're rolling dice and you're trying to get your pirate to land on certain locations. So you can bring up some of these other pictures. Again, the better pictures, bizarrely, aren't actually out around here. But yeah, I highly recommend this. So yeah, I really do enjoy Rum and Pirates. Got to know those. So now we have Star Wars Rebellion, and this is a game which is another 2-player only preferred game. And what I really recommend about this game by Roy Konecko, who made loads of Star Wars games in particular, and Fantasy Flight, is you basically have this massive map up, and what you're looking to do here is win the game by finding the base of your opponent and looking to see what we can do to ultimately, figure out where their base is. They can have the chance to flee and reappear, and then you've got to find them again and destroy them. So it's a bit of a asymmetrical kind of game, and it's something to be aware of. It does take a fair amount of time. 4 hours isn't uncommon. This is the kind of map I want to show you. Unfortunately, there aren't any great images coming up, which is a little odd. I think what we want to do here is go hot. That's what we're after. I think I'll bear that in mind. And here you go. So one of these planets, is it Hoth? Is it somewhere else that the enemy's hiding? You need to find those locations. Telestrations. Well, this is a party game. This is a drawing game as well. And what's very interesting about this is you're basically going to be drawing out, let's see what fun images people have, is someone might say, okay, draw a reclining chair. Someone does this, recliner, lie down and have gynecologist. So very, very funny because you can see how you get from that to that. But it's just interesting how minds reinterpret things. So it's a very fun game. And sometimes you have a really good guesser. That's more my category because I'm not a particularly good drawer and people have a clue. And it can be a bit boring if people end up getting the whole thing round. It's nice to see it occur though. And I do recommend it a higher play count. Yes, 8 is fantastic. Especially because there's more things going around. It's good to have it even numbers as well. And eat, poop your cat. Didn't know about that. Game of the year. Wow, it's won some recent awards. I didn't realise Telestrations was such a new game. Oh, there we go. So this is Telestrations I highly recommend. It's a nice erasable drawing things. Yeah, 2009. Sounds more like it. So now we have another expansion. This is Terraform Mars Venus Next. It's a nice expansion. I like it because of the kind of extra planet, extra place we can work on. It has 50 more project cards, 5 more corporations added. And yeah, I really like doing this. As with any Terraform Mars, I'll only ever play drafting because it just adds the strategy that I'm after. And it takes about 45 minutes extra. But this did not delay the game. I think it's a shorter game playing with this. Through the Ages, so this was a game that's been #1, I believe, on Board Game Geek for many years. Only about 14 games have been #1. And it's designed by the very famous Vlaada, who has won Game of the Year before. And it's a very interesting, quite a long, heavy game, which is very Euro heavy around auctioning, trying to see what you want to do, what you want to spend, and what you want to build up. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I used to own this, which is interesting because I used to own it and it wasn't up there. And I haven't played the reimplementation, which fixes some war bits, which I didn't think really mattered. Yes, very enjoyed this. It is heavy though. I have played it short, medium, and long, and yeah, I highly recommend checking this out or the newer one. Lovely cards as well, lovely artwork, and just bear in mind it takes a while to play. It's a full-on game to play for the day. Party game again, 2 rooms and a boom. A fun game. I think it does wear on me a bit, but you're going to have someone playing like a mute, and they're going to walk around being quiet, and I can't talk, and then you find you have the trickster, who basically can talk or can't talk, and they're just copying somebody else, and you bump into somebody. So everyone's playing different rules in different rooms, and basically in this room, there's basically someone's got a bomb. So somebody, like the president's got to find the bomb, but everyone else, maybe there's a baddie, the bomber, he needs to get near the president. And of course, if the bomb goes off, then we need to get that president in a different room to the room where the bomb is. Hence the name 2 rooms and a boom. Definitely better with more players. I've played it with like 21 people, and in the high teens. Highly recommended at that higher player count. And too many people just bashes into each other. So yeah, that's the only game they seem to have done. Alf AXA, another Game of the Year winner. So this is the SPIEL.digital 1987. I like this. This designer's won it 4 times. And yep, this is very much like an early ticket to ride, like an action queue, building, bidding game, picking up, deliver. It's very nice. Watch out in terms of roll, spinning, and move. There are 2 editions. I have the first edition where you're trying to go out and collect stuff. This looks like a fan-made edition one actually. And that looks more like it. Yeah, you're going out and collecting stuff. Next I have Rising Sun. So this is the last of the Rising Suns, I'll tell you that much. And that is, you do not need to have the other stuff. I think they make a great job, and that's where they've all kind of bunched together. But Rising Sun, yes, this game whereby you're negotiating, you're blind bidding, and they're saying, yeah, I won that area, but it's not as damaging as if you were obviously to lose. Next up, Sushi Go. So Sushi Go is a drafting game. I think it's great strategically. So 2, about 3, 4, 5, lovely cards, very, very quick to play. can have loads of hands, lots of different ways of playing it. Try and get a score up to around 50, it'd be a great score. And yeah, it's very fun to see, well, do I want to play the optimum card or playing a card that hinders my opponent and hopefully I've prevented something rather than me losing something else. Great designer, Phil Walker Harding, probably my 10th favourite designer. Spring Meadow, this is in a trilogy of games by Uwe Rosenberg. I've played over 20 of his games. So first up, he had in this particular polyomino set called Cottage Garden. Then a game I used to own called Indian Summer, which used to play outside actually in the summer. Following up from that, which I love the artwork, is Spring Meadow, which I love the orienteering kind of feeling about the game being. It involves sheep for a start. It has a look of this Ordnance Survey. I just love the look of it. I'm trying to find if there's some lovely, lovely pictures, nice up and close. Let's just see if I can bring up the hot pictures. Yeah, let's go with this one here. So you're trying to work your way up this particular map and get the best score possible. And underneath here, it's a shame you can't see it there, is some wonderful like natural map markings over there, which look absolutely lovely. You're trying to fill in these holes as well. Up next, we have another thing for Terraforming Mars. This is a promo card that I just think is nice to play. It's on the 4 base promo cards. And this particular one is the Snow Algae promo card. Not much really to say about this one. You basically just need 2 oceans, increase plant production and heat. And I just think it's a nice way of just churning out that game. So Shipwreck Arcana, we're near the end of this list now. And this is a very interesting game. It used to be print and play. It's involving deduction, logic, and evaluation. A card game, a game I'm very much looking forward to playing again. And I hope to in 2021 at recording this. Interestingly, it looks like you have an artist and designer who seem to know each other, potentially. And yeah, you're trapped in this world. Hopefully I can give you a bit more elaboration on this in due course. So yeah, here's the artist, and it is indeed his brother. And there's this other game called Norsaga. So let's into what's all that about. So I think this is the last on the list. Another Japanese themed game, Shogun. So it does re-implement a game called Wallenstein. Dirk Hen did a great job on this. This involves action queue, auction bidding, this fantastic cube tower, and it's an area control game involving these components dropping down. And yeah, it's just fantastic the way it works. Hopefully there's some wonderful pictures. And it's very interesting how you're trying to control various areas. Never tried it as a lower player count, and yeah, I look forward to trying it as a 2, potentially as a 3 as well. Trying to have various characters, various player powers, and yeah, ultimately win that game, which can take probably the best part of 3 hours, I'd say. So it has been re-implemented, and yeah, I highly recommend checking this one out. So thank you very much for watching. I look forward to bringing another video ASAP. All the best. Bye for now.